It's not Monday. It's not Tuesday. It's not Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. It's Sunday. Papers.
Clap us in. One.
Motherfuckers.
We did it on two. And I'm clapping in. 3, 2, 1. There's our clap, my clap. And then I put my headphones in, and then I go. Let's do this thing.
Read all about it.
There it is.
Read all about it. Wicked Pisser news this week. Coming to you from the Boston Globe, kid. For all you queers down the Cape.
Kid. I like that a lot. I love when you're right. That is a thing.
What's up,
That
kid?
is a Boston thing, kid.
Yeah. I'm in Boston, Mass right now, if you don't know. By the time you hear this, I will have finished my shows. Thanks for coming
Pally.
out. Yeah. It's great. I love coming back to Boston. This is where I started, man. This is it.
Where are you right now? You
I
have
am
good
in
internet for a change.
I'm at the Westin Hotel, which is a very high-end, beautiful hotel. And it's right on the waterfront on the edge of Southie.
I'd say middle high end, but yeah.
And it's a quick walk to Southie, which I love. I walk down there for lunch.
So where, I lived there for 4+ years. Where is this hotel?
Well, the waterfront has been developed. The area, like, you actually have to kind of cross a bridge from downtown Boston. It's just off Faneuil Hall. You cross a bridge, and then there's the waterfront there.
See, I know.
It's all new.
After my time.
Yeah.
After my time. All right. Got it.
So it's just so funny because I got to I get to Logan Airport, and of course there's no gourmet coffee, there's no Pete's, there's not, just the fucking Dunk. It's the Dunk, and there's a line of guys in fucking worn out work boots and flannel shirts, even though it's 8 degrees out. And I walk outside to find my Uber, and I ask a cop, which I'm guessing they don't like to be asked where Uber is at the airport when they're directing traffic. And he walked over and he fucking laid on me the most intense Boston sarcasm. I wanted to get on the ground and just worship him for his he fucking nailed it. He's like, you're going to go inside. You're going to look up. You're going to see an escalator. It was just like, I felt chills. Like, I love this town.
You and I are the same way. It's like, I don't know if there's a lack of self-respect where when a guy a public guy righteously shits on us, it feels right. But I told you that JFK when I went, I'm like, I go, yeah, where's the SkyTrain? He's like, air train. Like, like I'm a second grader.
Because there's a care underneath it. That's what you can't really translate. Is that they are in fact giving you the information, and they do care that you get there, but they're going to make you feel like a child as they do it.
Right. Well, you always like my story, and at the risk of other people having heard it, but quick one. When I lived in Boston, and I went to the police precinct, and I was told to do that because our landlord was threatening us. And we knew where this was going to end up. It was going to end up probably in small claims court or whatever. So it'd be good to have that on the record. That's the only reason I went. So I go into the station, and a guy's there. And I mean, talk about now, some people have so much more awareness of cops, and they don't need these little headaches, right? So anyway, I go in, and the guy's there on duty, and he's at the desk. And I'm like, yeah, I'd like to file a complaint. He's like, and he gets out the paper, and he's already so bothered.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, what is it? He's like, well, my landlord is physically threatening me with violence. He's like, all right. He's like, okay. And he gets to the part. He's like, can you describe your landlord? I'm like, I don't know. He's like in his 50s, 60s. So he looks up at me, and then he writes down 50s, 60s. He's like, how big is this guy? And I'm like, I don't know. He's probably 5. And he looked, immediately I say 5. He looks up at me like, what are you doing? And I go, probably weighs around 160, puts down the pencil. He goes, sounds like you could stick this guy up your ass. I'm like, That's not the point. But the best is a cop. Like not only don't bother me, but will you beat him up yourself, for Christ's sake?
You haven't exhausted options 1 through 3, which all involve violence.
He wanted to tear it up when I said 5'8" or whatever the hell the guy was. Yeah,
That's great. Yeah, my uncle, because, when my grandfather was one of 13, and they were all born in Ireland, and they all came over to the States, and 2 of them ended up in Boston. And one of their children was a Boston cop. And so when I got to BU, my mother's like, "Oh, you got to look up your Uncle Johnny. He's a cop in Boston." And so I call him up, and I get like, "Oh, you're my fucking all right, cool. All right, you want to come out to Sunday supper?" So I get on. He goes, "I'll be at work. You meet me at the station. I'll bring you back to my house in Quincy, and you can meet Ma." And so I get on the red line, and it's like the last stop on the red line, and it's not Savin Hill. I can't remember. It's in Dorchester, but it's the worst neighborhood in Dorchester. And I get off the train. I walk about 30 yards, and a cop car puts the lights on and pulls over to ask me what I was doing in that neighborhood.
Wow.
And I said, "I'm here to see my Uncle Johnny." No, not Johnny, Sonny. My Uncle Sonny, Sonny Coakley. And he goes, "Okay, jump in the car." They fucking drive me to the station. And I get there, and they go, "Sonny's busy right now. He just brought in a felon." And so he comes out, and I see him, and he's got the fucking Marine cut, tough dude. And I look down, and he's got fucking blood on his shoes. And he drives me back to the house, and I meet my aunt. It was the greatest. I used to go down and see him all the time.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, he was.
When they pulled you over, I thought it was going to be a big apology. Well, sorry, dude. We thought you were black.
Yeah.
Our bad.
Right.
Yeah, do whatever you want. Sorry.
Yeah.
Welcome to our neighborhood.
You had the hood on. We just assumed.
Yeah.
So big week for me. Me and Aaron are officially, after 21 years of raising children, as of this past Wednesday, we are empty nesters.
Amazing.
Yep.
Wow.
Dropped off JoJo at school up in Northern California.
So you guys, you all drove up there?
Yes, we all drove up, and then Aaron and I flew back, and it was very heartfelt. I'm not gonna lie to you, a lot of tears when I said goodbye to her. It was just so hard, especially with a daughter. I don't know if it's like more than Owen. I just felt like, I don't know.
You've also had a special
she's in a
relationship. You've also had there's been a special quality to your relationship with her, which is after Owen left, she was the sole one in the house then.
Yeah.
And then graduated high school, and almost like a roommate situation, almost not peer, but you know what I mean? It's no longer a high schooler in the house.
Right. It was,
that's a very unique, I'm feeling it with Olivia now that Sophie's in Michigan. I'm feeling it like it's such a dramatically different dynamic.
It is. And, I found her loitering more after dinner. Like, she wanted to have adult conversations more with us about politics and life and philosophy. And it went to a whole different level. And, whatever. I'm just, it's interesting also to think about a part of crying was like, I'm stuck alone in the house with one person now. And is that going to be insane? I mean,
and terrified of of her emotional intelligence, which towers over you.
Right. I mean, it is really like the kids have been a distraction to keep her from noticing how fucking juvenile I am and how little I have to offer.
Poor JoJo loitering after dinner, trying to have a conversation. You're like, "Honey, I'm watching The Bachelor. Can't you see Daddy's busy?"
Yeah. Daddy,
no, go get Daddy a non-alcoholic beer and go to your room.
Daddy posted something clever on Twitter, and he needs to see how many people are following it. Can you go inside?
Can't you just lock yourself in your room and listen to Joni Mitchell? That's what girls did when I was young. What's going on? Why do you want to talk to me?
Yeah. How's Sophie doing? What's the update from Michigan?
Good. She, more like seemingly half of Michigan has COVID. But Michigan, the school is doing well. I'm trying to think what the latest updates are. It's rushing, and she doesn't know if she's a sorority type. I mean, she kind of isn't. But it's such a big part of the social system there. So talking to her about that, like weighing, like she had one friend who's very independent minded and really like it's very cool girl, and she's quit on it. She's like, this isn't for me. So that's really made Sophie think also, and that's really, that's that girl's style, going against swimming against the tide, because the whole thing there is, because otherwise you get housing for freshman year and then that's it. And so if Sophie doesn't go in the Greek system or whatever, then it's like finding an apartment and all that stuff. So she has to decide pretty soon. Anyway,
yeah,
so
I mean,
all good there.
it's easy to say fuck fraternities, but if you're at certain schools, like Owen has friends at Cal State, at Berkeley, and like if you're not in the Greek system at Berkeley, you're not getting into parties. It's
Right.
like mandatory. It's fucking bullshit. If I was a university president, I would ban all fraternities and sororities. It is just, it creates cliques, it creates groupthink, it creates, I honestly believe there's more incidents of rape in a fraternity house than there would be in a regular dormitory. For sure.
Oh, I think so. Yeah. And just the amount of alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
And the hazing and all that stuff. Anyway, there's that. If I look tired today, I was telling Chris before this, it's because I've gotten smarter in the last week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like a lot, I think. So do you do the spelling bee on the New York Times?
I don't.
So I'm about 3 weeks into that now, and I don't stop until I hit the genius level, which is, it's the circle, it's the word, it's a bunch of letters, and you have to make as many words as you can. And the smallest word is 4 letters, blah, blah, blah. There's an addiction. And it comes out at midnight. No, sorry, it comes out at 3 a.m. in New York. And there's lots of articles about these people who have they stay up till 3, even though they have to go to work at 9.
Yeah.
They stay up because they can't wait for the next one. But the big thing is, have you seen, it's all over Wordle? It's all over Twitter. Wordle?
No, I think you posted it in a text and I got annoyed by you.
You did. I think you left that text chain.
Yeah.
So, no, Wordle is pretty... Here's Wordle. You ready? Here's today's. So it's this simple. There's just blank spots.
Yeah.
It's a 5-letter word.
Right.
You have 6 guesses to guess what the word is. And when you guess, it tells you what letters are in the word and if you've guessed them in the right spot. So here, we'll do one together. Here's the first. So I'll put in a rose, right? A rose. So the best is going online and reading these nerds absolutely fight it out on probability and the likelihood of the letters being in there. And they've ranked all the letters. They've created programs to tell you the best first guess. So here's the first guess, a rose, and it sucked. I got 1 letter. You see how the A is yellow?
Yeah.
That means an A is in there, but not in that spot. That's all I learned.
So
with
you
that.
want to pick a word that has a lot of vowels in it, since those are frequent letters. Is that right? Is that why you chose a rose?
Yeah, but there's a lot of people saying, why don't you choose consonants, And so I don't even know what my second word is, and we won't belabor it here with people. But I bet
if this
people
was a
listening to
text
this
chain,
podcast,
I'd be off it right now.
Yeah, but I bet a lot of people listening, that's why I brought up this podcast, I already know what my second word should be. Like, it shouldn't be paint, which hits a lot of them, but I'd be repeating an A. Anyway, I'll tell you how that one works out. It's a very bad start. But the main reason I'm getting smarter, Greg, is I then went down this Christopher Hitchens wormhole.
Oh.
And I watched this debate he had with Dinesh D'Souza. It was at Notre Dame, and it was about, does God exist? And I've seen Hitchens in other debates and with Stephen Fry and all this, and with against clergy, where he eviscerates them. And he came up with a list of all the things the Catholic Church has apologized for and added like 4-fold what they should continue apologizing for. And it's amazing. This, though, you got to watch this thing. First of all, they are the most articulate. It doesn't even matter what side you're on. And Hitchens, I don't think clearly won, believe it or not. And the other guy never went. He just went to Nothing can come from nothing, which is a famous art. Anyway, I could go on a long time, but I was up till probably 3 a.m.
No, but that
last
is,
night.
I mean, I believe in God. I was raised Catholic, and I don't, and I always wonder about these guys. I'm not religious any longer. I don't follow the Catholic faith, but I believe there's a God, and I don't understand a guy whose life ambition is to tell people there's no God. Like, I understand attacking the Catholic Church and the things that they've done wrong. I get that. But then he steps it out into attacking the concept of a higher power, which part of me, maybe because of going to AA and Al-Anon, I have a strong connection to a higher power as well. And God is a very vague, kind of nature-based concept to me, but it helps me. And I think it orders the universe, and I think it can be stepped out very logically that there would be a higher power or a greater intelligence that's governing the laws of the universe. And I'm just always fascinated by a guy who that's all he wants to do is debunk it.
Well, he states his reason. He goes, we're creating this, we have this weak, out of weakness, this desire to really, really need to believe that there's a daddy or a mommy out there taking care of us, and that they're very concerned with us. Like in all the things they created, they're really concerned with who we sleep with, and he talks about how organized religion is maybe the worst thing ever on the planet, responsible for the most deaths and controlling freedom, and it's born out of that. And so he then goes, to remove that, you're getting more clarity. To remove that, that's an out. To say that
no, but conflate. But that's where I have a problem. Is he's always conflating higher power with religion, and I think the two can be distinct entities, and they don't have to be. You don't have to negate one to negate the other.
Well, I would recommend everyone go to this. It's at Notre Dame, and it's Dinesh, and it's Hitchens, and because this is how you know. First of all, it's outrageous how articulate they are.
Yeah.
Outrageous.
Yeah.
And the way they, I know a little bit about debating and stuff and false equivalencies, but they bring up, of course, those concepts that science always suggests what would unravel their theory, where religion never does. Religion always says, oh, yeah, no, God hid the fossils. That's how he knew we'd become that smart. He hid the fossils. Like, they always move the goalposts, where science admits their limitations, and that's anyway.
Right.
My point is, this is how you know how great they are, because I'm fully Team Hitchens, yet Hitchens would deliver, and they had it timed. He'd deliver, let's say, his 5-minute retort. I'm like, done. I mean, that's a knockout. The fight's been called. Dinesh goes for 5. I'm like, fuck, Dinesh is on top again. Like,
yeah.
It kept going like that. It was fascinating. I can't recommend.
Well, we're going to post a link on this episode of that debate. We'll put it up there so you guys can watch it. I want to watch it, and then we'll talk about it more next week.
Yeah, it's really, and you do get smarter, because I had to pause so many times and rewind it to follow their absolutely airtight logic on arguing, like on dismantling and finding the bias and the assumptions and presumptions the other guy had made, right or wrong with what their view was. Just that clear thinking. It was so clear-headed,
Yeah, that's fascinating. I mean, deconstructing where your opinions come from is very interesting. It's because we're in a society now where opinions are the equity. There is a lot of commerce done on opinions right now, whether it's talk radio or podcasts or social media. Everybody is dug in and very vocal about their take on things, and then other people want to hear takes on things. And so I think that is an interesting time to stop down and look at, why are you thinking this? Where does that come from?
All right, we'll talk about it next week, but be warned, when you listen to it, you might. So I had a nightmare last night. Another reason I'm exhausted, that woke me up.
Really?
Because they talk about a concept that's talked about a lot, but just how unbelievably insignificant we are, right? And he brings up Einstein, and Einstein then said, and he detailed it, and I'll just set it up for us to think about next week. He goes, and I'm going to be outrageously inarticulate right now, basically, if one thing is off, if 1 degree is off in this formation, if one thing went off in the creation of our planet, of our solar system, blah, 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 it's all gone.
Yeah.
And it's so fragile now. We can't live on any other planet because they're too hot and too cold. And a lot of our planet is too hot and too cold. It's this razor's edge of this ecosystem that we are living on.
Right.
And so I had a nightmare that a friend of mine, we were away, a friend of mine came in, this guy who lives in the Palisades. I don't know why he was in my dream. And he goes, that thing happened. And in my dream, it was very articulate. But he was like, basically, it was like that 1% happened. They just talked about it. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, no. Like, people are going to start running out of this restaurant in 2 minutes. Like, I just heard it. Like, people are screaming on the street. And I saw the movie Don't Look Up. Did you see that yet?
No, I'm going to watch it tonight.
So that fed my thing also, which is at any moment, we're gone. And in fact, like mid-word, the next 3 words, the whole world could disappear.
Right,
we wouldn't even know it happened.
Yeah, that comforts me. That's how you know I'm depressed, is when I have that thought, I go, oh.
I used to.
Well,
it's
it's one of the tenets of Buddhism is to remind yourself that you're going to die. And it's a great piece of anti-anxiety advice. Anytime you're in a situation and you really are fucking feel trapped, you just go, I'm going to die. And it kind of releases you.
Well, unlike my nightmare, which woke me up, you're going to wake up with jizz in your pants then, because you're going to love these fatalistic, apocalyptic scenarios that your brain will probably dream up. But it was like, and we had like 30 minutes, and everyone knew, and all of a sudden, all the electricity started going out, all the telephone, like all because the charges and the world was going sideways, and we had 30 minutes, and then there was no way to contact. Like, I remember trying to contact but she's in Michigan. So all that went out the way, and I woke up unable to talk to my 2 daughters at all. No last words, with a half hour, and still couldn't do anything about it.
Wow. Jesus.
Yeah.
And you think that was a result of listening to these debates?
I think it's a combination of, I didn't really love Don't Look Up, but it's a great, as Adam McKay will with his giant brain, it's a great meditation on, it's a giant analogy of scientists have just told you this thing's coming. How are you going to react? And that's what the movie is. And that's, by the way, in the first 3 minutes. I haven't spoiled anything. And so, I can't talk about something else. So things in that movie informed this nightmare. Of course,
wow.
You'll see. There's real. When you see the movie, my nightmare is not far away from that. But what sealed it was this Einstein talk about how the physicists know by the way, 1% is the grossest gigantic number. It's a millifraction of 1% that has to be off. Like it's on probably immeasurably slight thing.
Yeah, there's a book. You ever read A Brief History of Nearly Everything by Bill Bryson?
You brought that up, and I love Bill. I got to read that.
It's incredible, and it really outlines how tenuous it all the genesis is and the continuation of the species is. And I tried to listen to it going to sleep, and I couldn't because it kept me awake. I was riveted. He goes into every aspect of science, biology and physics, and each one he gets into molecular level stuff that makes you just sit up and go like, my mind is blown. We are so fucking insignificant.
Well, I didn't know, and you learned this. I did not know that scientists have given up trying to defend that that molecules, the primordial soup.
Yeah.
That theory no longer holds primordial soup. They think that it might have come from outer space. In other words, and been like dropped. That the idea that the molecules can arrange themselves in a way that would lead to life, it's not as easy. You can't win an argument saying we started in primordial soup, lightning probably struck it at one point, and through the just shy of infinite possibilities, life formed. That was news to me that is kind of no longer a good argument.
I love it. All right, more about this next week. The
Are
big
we done? I think that's
Well,
all I got for today. I'm smarter. I just wanted you to know that.
the big story this past week also was my friend Bob Saget died.
Oh, fuck.
And I don't even want to get into it right now. We were deciding whether to talk about it at the top or during the obituaries, but let's save it for the obituaries. It's too raw. It's too raw for me to even talk about.
Yeah, he's amazing. And we'll talk about it in the obituaries, but
Yeah.
basically, if he walked into a room, you were there, I was there, and a bunch of other comics, in the weirdest way, and this is all credit to him, I would think he would make eye contact with me like, hey, like, dude, I can't wait to talk to you. I'll be over in a minute.
Right.
And it's unbelievable how many people he put under that impression.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, it's true.
Yeah, he had that magic thing where he made everybody feel like the center of the universe, and it was organic. It was, some people put on that charm. He was the guy that would then follow up with a text or a phone call. And,
Well, that's what I mean. He would come over.
Yeah,
And
right.
I have to underscore, I'm not in his world like you are.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not, but he will remember I produced him a few times. But I mean, so I might as well just be a fan that he maybe recognizes. But still, I'm
Yeah.
under that impression.
Yeah, yeah. All right. The song this week by Gary Carlin was an example of, look, we're not looking for you to be the Beach Boys. We don't need a cello player in the hallway and 12 synthesizers or really talent. Just a song. Just a song. We love it.
Don't do that. I like this. You played it for me, and I immediately said I liked it.
Yeah, there's something about it that makes you listen to it twice. The logo this week, I mean, talk about talent.
Oh, my God.
Melody Myers went to town on the Sgt. Pepper's cover.
You know, people might start the podcast, and I don't know how they view it or ingest it. This logo might come up while the song comes up. It might lift that song way up.
Yep. Yep, I think so. I don't know if, we talk about someday of like locking in a logo. This is a front runner for what with the cover. Would we be sued for copyright infringement?
Well,
Or can you do this? We're comedy, so we can do it, right?
Well, there's an article which there's the 7 defenses that you use. Anyone can sue you, by the way. So yes, someone can sue us. But there's the 7 defenses for fair use, and one of them is transformative use. The argument here would be: has she created a new piece of art?
Absolutely.
So then, the people suing, their lawyer would probably advise them. I've been through this too much with especially, I learned all this on Tosh.0 when we would just air clips and not pay for them. But we had to go through all these legal hoops. And their lawyer would say they are going to use transformative use as a defense, and it's going to really probably a very uphill battle to win anything.
Interesting.
So we're in the clear.
We're not in the clear on our corrections. We had a number of people.
Also, it could be parody because we're so bombastic compared to maybe we're parodying them. So anyway, there's a combination of uses.
What's a song that uses the word bombastic?
Is there a song that uses bombastic?
There is.
Remind me next week, Chris. Remind me to talk about Elvis Costello has stopped playing a song because I thought for a second maybe
Oliver's
bombastic.
Army.
Yeah, let's talk about Oliver's Army.
Well, the song is it's about Northern Ireland, and
Yes,
I
is.
mistakenly thought it was about Oliver North for a long time, and you corrected me.
Yeah.
But it was the line in the song is
One less white N-word.
yeah. And,
So the article I was reading goes, so the line is there's one more something and one less white N-word. So the article wrote white N, swear to God, have you ever seen this? And the lyric was one less white N hyphen GGER. I'm like, you fucking assholes. How about N hyphen word?
yeah.
N hyphen WORD.
Right,
What?
right.
Like, was this an intern? Like, just put N word, like, N hyphen, and then the
Yeah.
and they went, what?
Right.
Well, what are you doing?
And they put a dot over the asterisk that they replaced it, so you even knew that was an I. But he asked that not only he doesn't want it bleeped, he wants it to stop being played. He wants radio stations to respect him and just stop playing the song.
It's a really good song.
It's a fucking great song,
Yeah.
and it's one of his staples. It's probably the song that makes him the most money. I would say top 5 songs that makes him his most money. And you know, the N word is just something that the context is different now. I have used it in the past in a scholastic way, in talking about the word. I've said the word, and I would never do that now. It was a different time. There was a time when comedians went on stage and they talked about the word and they said the word, and you just can't do it now.
Well, the Louis C.K. famous bit that he hates the N-word, but he's fine with when you would say it literally.
Yeah.
He goes, the problem is the N-word because people hide behind the word when they say the N-word, and now they've put that word in my head. Kind of like the spelling of N-GG.
Right.
No, but yeah, he used to talk about it as well, and I think people should be able to talk about it if it's articulate. And in this song, his either grandfather or a relative of Declan McManus's, of Elvis Costello's, was called that. And that's what he was saying. He's like, and this will result in one less white, and that's what his relative was called.
Right.
And so, again, it's in context. When Archie Bunker has said the word, clearly it was like perhaps the most liberal show ever, and open-minded and pro-civil rights show ever. And the context there was a bigot was saying it.
Well,
no one makes that effort anymore.
There's context to that word because the Irish, the Catholic Irish, were referred to as white N-words. That was it wasn't like he didn't coin the phrase. He was repeating the phrase.
Right.
Yeah, it was they were always considered the N-words of Europe. That was said.
And is that because we're always late to places?
Hey now. Wait a minute. Right. Corrections. This will be one next week. You saying that. A number of people reached out to point out that I was, in fact, right. Bensonhurst is in Brooklyn. Matty O'Halloran says it's where Travolta strutted with his 2 slices, 86th Street and 20th Avenue in Saturday Night Fever. The Christmas lights are in Dyker Heights, Brooklyn, 84th Street.
I didn't know that part, yeah.
Now, I thought it was in Bensonhurst. I don't know, but I guess it's Dyker Heights. This guy lives in Bay Ridge. Fuck Queens, he said. And then Rich M said, Bensonhurst is in Brooklyn as you originally thought. I was just pointing out that the incident you were referring to happened in Queens in Howard Beach. That's where the black guy was chased by the white guys and got hit by a car.
Oh, God, yeah.
Either way, I emphatically recommend the Sicilian at New York Pizza where the incident occurred. Do you recommend it for everybody? Should really anybody show up for a slice there, or just certain people?
If it's still open, if it can survive that, the pizza's good.
Oh yeah, second only to the pizza where where the children were sold into sexual slavery by Hillary Clinton in Washington.
I'm trying to look. Like, I know Canarsie, and I know Tyson's from Brownsville. And then there's, Flatbush, of course, but that was very Italian, wasn't it?
Flatbush? Yeah.
Yeah. And then Crown Heights.
Flatbush is where Son of Sam killed some people, too.
Yeah. No, he terrorized that part of, I refer to it as Long Island, but that part of Brooklyn, Queens, that area. He terrorized all of New York, let's face it.
Well, he started in... He started in Throgs Neck, which is where I was born and lived for the first 5 years of my life. And then he did a bunch in the Bronx. And then what freaked people out is then he went to Queens, and then he went to Brooklyn. So all 5 boroughs were shitting their pants. There's a great documentary about it, which talks about how it was not one killer, but it was a series of people. and they were part of a cult, and it was related to
I
Manson.
know.
Yeah.
No, that documentary is really good.
Yeah. Also, we got one from Brian from Wimberley. I hate that I knew this correction off the top of my head. Madam the puppet sat on the fist of Wayland Flowers,
All
who
right, you don't have to word it that way.
who succumbed to an HIV-related disease at the age of 48.
From fisting.
From
I mean, it's right there. Remember, we're cleaner in 2022.
we have been
Keep it
very
clean.
clean today. Have you noticed?
You let out some F-bombs. I
Oh,
probably did too. I don't
shit.
realize. But I'm smarter now, so it doesn't matter. All
By
right,
the
what
way, there
else?
is a conjoined twins movie, Stuck on You, a Farrelly Brothers comedy starring
Yeah.
Greg Kinnear and Matt Damon. Was that any good?
I remember it not being as strong as the others. I'm trying to
Yeah.
remember.
All right.
It was around the time. What was the one also where the guy saw everyone, the woman is beautiful, even though she was overweight.
yeah.
I forget that one too.
And she was
Around that
overweight.
time.
Yeah. Some tour dates coming up, folks. Portland, Oregon at the Helium Comedy Club, January 20th through 22nd. Syracuse Funny Bone, January 28th and 29th. Lexington, Kentucky. I will be at Comedy Off Broadway on February
you're
24th
bouncing
through
around.
26th. And then on the way home, I'm hitting Omaha, just announcing this date. I'm
Wow.
going to Omaha, Nebraska to the Waiting Room on February 27th. Tickets for all these dates at fitzdog.com. Come out and see some live comedy. Take a chance.
Might be Warren Buffett. I think he's in Omaha. He is in Omaha.
Yeah. No,
I told you.
I think he might be in Lincoln.
No, Omaha.
Is he Omaha? Okay.
Yeah, because I know. So Rabi goes back there, right? Rabi's wife Stephanie's from there, and he sent me a picture. I might have talked about this before, but briefly, he sent me this picture, and I'm like, "Why'd you send me this?" He's in a movie theater, typical, like an AMC or whatever, and it's the velvet lines to get your popcorn, the ropes, and he's online, and he's like, "Look who it is," and it's an old guy in a red sweater. Warren Buffett is on the popcorn line.
Yes. Yes.
In Omaha at a regular, it's unbelievable
Dude,
how that guy keeps it
he
real.
drives a Honda Accord, and every morning he goes to McDonald's for a breakfast sandwich. Now, if the stock market was up the day before, then he gets the hash browns on the side. If it doesn't, he doesn't get the hash browns on the side. And then he flies coach. I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't know if I believe all those. Also, that's a little against his theory of like don't celebrate too much when it goes up.
Right.
He's always like, just stay in it.
Right.
But
God,
yeah,
can you
I mean, he
imagine
keeps
if when you first made any money at all, 10 grand, if you had put that into Berkshire Hathaway 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you'd
I
be a
can't.
fucking millionaire right now.
Oh no, there's so many of those stories where also I knew the stock was good and I thought I was too late.
Yeah.
I told you, Jeff Bezos came on Craig Kilborn. So that means that was between 2000 and 2005 when I was there, okay? Let's say it was 2003, towards the later half. We did 5 questions with him, and it was, how much has your stock gone up just today? And we did the math on it. And I remember when we were doing that thinking, God, I really missed the boat with Amazon.
Yeah, right.
In 2003.
Yeah, it's easy to kick yourself about these stocks, but the key is to just get in an index fund and leave the money there. The index funds beat. I've got a fucking stock guy, and he takes 1% of all my money every year, and I swear to God, he never does as well as the S&P 500 or the Dow. I could just put it in an index fund and not pay that 1% and do better. It's crazy.
Well, stock is, as we sit here, by the way, if this news sounds a little old, this is a Friday. We had to do it on Friday because I don't know, what are you doing? Going to see your cop uncle?
No, I'm going to a Bruins game tomorrow.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Well, the stock market's down 400 right now. But my short stock, TZA, flying up. What's it up today? You got a short now. I'm up 4% today. TZA, buy it.
And follow Mike's general life advice, which is that all things will go bad.
Bet against Brady. Bet on the earthquake. Bet against the stock market. Also bet that this 1% thing is going to happen to the universe and we're all going to disappear with 30-minute warning. Bet on it. Bet on it.
Rent, don't buy. Get divorced. Sell short on everything.
I'm ready.
Listen, if you want to learn a new language this year, whether it's saving more or spending less, getting organized or losing weight, there's a lot of worthwhile goals to set for yourself this year. At the top of my list is learning a new language with Babel, the language learning app that sold more than 10 million subscriptions. I got one, and I am relearning French, which I studied in high school, so I had a little bit of a base of it. And I'm telling you, you talk about being smarter again. My brain is coming alive. I'm having so much fun learning French again. And my neighbor, Flo, from Paris, I have conversations with him now in the alley, and it's a lot of fun.
No way.
Yep.
All right, I'm doing Spanish.
The whole Babel process is addictively fun, fast, and easy. Babel teaches bite-sized language lessons in real-world use. The 15-minute lessons make the perfect way to learn. The other language learning apps, I tried. I'm not going to say the other one I tried, but it didn't stick. It became very rote, and I got bored. But their teaching methods have been scientifically proven to be effective. You can choose from 14 different languages. Plus, their speech recognition technology helps you improve your pronunciation and accent. There are many ways to learn with Babel. In addition to lessons, you can access podcasts, games, videos, stories, and even live classes. Plus, it comes with a 20-day money back. That's 20 days, jours, 20 jours, money back guarantee. Start your new language learning journey today with Babel. Right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babel subscription, you'll get an additional 3 months for free. That's 6 months for the price of 3. Just go to Babbel.com and use promo code PAPERS. That's BABBEL.com, code PAPERS. Babel, language for life.
I'm going to start doing a spelling abeja. That's B, in case you didn't know it.
There you go.
Did I tell you the short story of, so Sophie took, she's at Michigan and all that. So evidently she's a genius. 3 years of Espanol at Santa Monica High School. She's taking Spanish at Michigan. She's home for a break. She's at Liz's house, and she's in her room, and she is remote learning in a Spanish class, and she is talking in Spanish. And Olivia, who's in high school here in Los Angeles, walks by with her friends whose native language is Spanish, and they started dying laughing. She said they were bent over in the hallway because, keep in mind, 3 years at high school, and now she's Spanish at the college level, and literally is like, mi casa es roja.
Yeah,
like it was, and maybe even worse than that.
Now, Owen, who as I've talked about, he went to Spanish immersion from kindergarten all the way through senior year of high school.
Yeah.
He took 2 classes a day in Spanish, and he learned from native speakers. And we've traveled to Mexico, Costa Rica, Spain, and every time he speaks, they're like, he does not have an American accent. He sounds like he's from, Mexico.
Right.
And then same thing. He was doing a Spanish class online in the living room. And these kids from the Midwest were exactly like that. Mi casa es it was so fucking bad.
I mean, this is the most hackneyed premise ever, but it is like to get so intimidated, especially you with French, because all you hear about is the French calling out pronunciation. It's like, hey, we're going to be clean.
Oh,
hey,
boy.
douchewads. Do you know what you sound like? It's
Yeah.
preposterous, but for some reason we file it under romantic and charming.
Yeah.
But it's lunacy what your accent sounds like in English.
I know people really hate American accents. It's and the one they always parody is Texas. They think every American sounds like a Texan.
No, I know, but it's like, so you get pan. You don't say bread exactly correctly. You don't fade on the end the way they want you to,
Pan.
and then they're a stickler on it. Screw them. You're making an effort.
Hey, listen.
Okay.
This next ad comes to you from a company that's cooking the best omelets you'll have all year,
Ate
all
'em.
while changing the world one egg at a time. It's called Just Egg, and I'm excited to tell you about it. It's cholesterol-free, plant-based egg that will give you the most decadent quiches of your life, the fluffiest scrambles, and the easiest egg sandwiches of all time. It has about the same protein as a chicken egg and less saturated fat. Plus, Just Eggs is packed with cholesterol-lowering polyunsaturated fat. Chicken eggs wish they were this healthy. Oh, and because Just Eggs comes from plants, you're also helping to save our planet. So that's nice if you're into the whole saving the environment thing. I got it in the mail, and they have these pre-made patties that are, you throw them in the toaster for 6 minutes, and it makes the perfect egg sandwich. Throw it on a couple pieces of bread, and then they also have like a batter, like an egg batter that you can make stuff with. It tastes, I'm telling you, I like it better than eggs. And
I used it. I also, I made a scramble. So I did it. It's already, normally I crack the eggs, mix them up in a bowl, put stuff in it. This is all ready. I just pour it right in the pan, add this. I put the sausage in actually a little before I pour it in the pan. And then the spinach is the last to go in, and onions and everything. It's amazing. It was great.
yeah, when you get a product like this, you really go at it like cautious, like, all right, this may not be good. It is I tell you from the heart, this is really good, and you should check it out. Happy New Year, everybody. May it be filled with Just Egg. Just Egg, really good eggs. Finally, we want to talk to you about how many tens of thousands of trees are cut down to make like toilet paper, single-use paper products that are flushed or thrown away into the overflowing landfills. Our forests currently remove around 1/4 of the carbon humans put into the atmosphere, making them a crucial part of the fight against real climate change. Real Paper is here to help that fight. Real Paper is a sustainable made product that helps reduce deforestation and single-use plastic waste. So, I got it. I got the toilet paper. Let me tell you something.
Looky right here.
My buttocks is very, very sensitive and delicate. It's
you get ass
55
hurt
years
all the
old.
time.
It's got some miles on it. And this Real Paper is real nice. I'll tell you that right now.
It's fantastic. I got it right here
yeah.
for the viewers. But by the way, I'm going to use that as the paper thing today, even though it's anyway, bamboo. This is what I like. Not to get too detailed about this. It has texture. Texture is very important to me. That's what's doing. That's the sand. Yeah, that's the grit. That's what's gonna get the job done. This stuff is awesome, and I think about that all the time. Like, it's amazing the amount of paper, and like, what are we doing? Do we think this can last forever?
Yeah. At Real Paper, all their products are 100% plastic-free and made without virgin tree fibers, meaning no new trees are cut down to make their toilet paper and paper towels. Real developed a premium, sustainable alternative so that you don't have to sacrifice quality to help the planet. Plus, making this small change can have a big impact. So far, Real Paper has eliminated over 250,000 pieces of single-use plastics. Plus, each purchase of Real helps fund access to clean sanitation around the world. Real Paper is available in easy, hassle-free subscriptions or for one-time purchases on their website. All orders are conveniently delivered to your door in 100% recyclable plastic-free packaging. If you head to realpaper.com/papers and sign up for a subscription using my code PAPERS at checkout, you'll automatically get 30% off your first order. That's REEL. Paper, PAPER.com/papers to enter or enter promo code PAPERS to get 30% off your first order. Real Paper is toilet paper and paper towels that change lives. Okay.
I'm going to wipe myself with their wrapper, by the way. That would be a good idea.
Hey,
Nothing's going to waste.
Why don't you crinkle it to get us into our first front page section?
Okay, hold on. I got to crinkle some bamboo. That is the most environmentally sound crinkle we have ever done.
That's right. That's right.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
All right, where are we? Front
page, baby.
COVID updates. I hate to say it. These stats were from Wednesday. So January 11th, 2022, 767,000 cases. January 11th, 2021, 226,000 cases. Holy moly.
A third of it. We have 300%
and then the January
more
11th
cases now.
Of this year and last year on deaths this year, 2650. Last year, 2050. So it's a serious situation. But let's get into some stories. An 84-year-old man got 12 COVID jabs in less than a year, and he wants more.
Keep jabbing me.
This guy, last name Mandal, is 84. He's in India. He had all the vaccines in just 11 months and even managed to book 2 less than 30 minutes apart on the same day. He said he wanted to feel stronger during the pandemic and rid himself of the joint pain he has suffered for 8 years. The former postman has been accused of a string of offenses by police in the village of Orai in India where he lives. So I just put this article in here to show you that every country has its version of going postal.
Yes.
Everyone,
yes.
The postmen are the unhinged ones.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's got to be. It's an addiction. I'm the same way with proctology exams. I schedule one. I have a standing Thursday with my doctor. My doctor. My guy.
My doctor. Doctor. What was Dr. Vinny Boomba?
Dr. Vinny Boomba with the stinky finger.
This week, I think he's going to be, Greg, did you switch to bamboo? It's
looking good, Greg. Looking good.
Very different scenario down here, I got to tell you.
By the way, the last time I went in for the proctology exam, he put on the glove, and then he fucking goes into his little KY jelly vat, and he dunks his finger, and he pulls out just a load of ointment.
Yes.
And I was like, dude, how tight do you think my asshole is at this point? I'm 55. You could pretty much, you could just lick your finger. You're in.
Oh my God. Most people are comforted by the fact that there's a lot of lube coming that way, whether you're male or female. You, on the other hand, you want more friction.
I just don't want to clean up for the next 90 minutes as I'm walking out of the doctor's office and it's still trickling down my thighs because Vinny Boombots had to go deep on the fucking Vaseline jar.
So is this your way of sneaking in dirty stuff through the medical loophole?
Sorry. Yeah.
All right. So another story. A new vaccination mandate in Italy requires everyone over 50 to be vaccinated or pay a hefty fine. So some are opting to pay to get infected with COVID instead.
Oh, boy.
Soon after the announcement of the new law, enterprising opportunists started offering COVID parties where people who tested positive for the disease mix and mingle with those who want to catch it. One racket in Tuscany even includes a truffle dinner with wine along with positive testing infection for $150 American.
Wow.
How about that?
Please welcome our guest of honor. It's a homeless Rico. Give us a cough, Rico. This particular homeless piece of shit also has a Hep C and a tuberculosis. So everybody get in tight.
What about the prostitutes are like, well, it's 50 for a handy, 100 if you want to go all the way. If you want COVID, it's 200.
Yeah, I'll cough on you for 200.
I mean, what a little niche for prostitutes. I mean, like it's like, oh no, you got to go to the ones who have it. I mean,
yeah.
if you're paying $150 to get it,
yeah,
why don't you get infected? That's what a lot of people, in a misguided way. That's what a lot of people did with AIDS.
Yeah,
they thought, oh, I'll be immune to it after I get it.
Right.
All right, and then hold on, new segment. You ready?
New segment. Drum roll.
This new segment is called Good News for Gibbons. And the good news, in this week's Good News for Gibbons, a new study found cannabis compounds stopped COVID virus from infecting human cells in a lab. Cannabis compounds prevented the virus that causes COVID-19 from penetrating healthy human cells, according to researchers from Oregon State University. Oregon! I know that's not his school. Those aren't Ducks.
Go
but
Ducks.
Still, very close to home for him.
If this is true, Gibbons is immune for the next 3 decades. His mask is a bong, basically.
All right, so I put this story in a few days ago, and then this morning, I'm on a chain with Mikey and Gibbons. They texted me this story. So it has clearly come up on the Gibbons radar. Yeah.
It's like instead of losing your sense of taste with the disease, you actually want to eat everything in sight.
Totally. In terms of being super vaccinated, I love your story about Owen breastfeeding. Just tell that quickly.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Owen breastfed for 2 years. And people go like, well, breastfeeding is good for your immune system. It's like, really? I think at this point we could safely dunk him in a bucket of polio.
Yep, I found the link. He sent He sent it. You were on the chain too. And this article, because this story is being picked up everywhere. Could cannabis prevent COVID? To the authors of a new study, it sure looks like it. Boy, how far do you think Rogan's going to run with this one?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He enjoys a little cannabis.
I did see a clip of him. Anyway, we don't have to go into it, but always listen. Obviously, we never here at this podcast purport to tell the truth or be fact-based. In fact, we have a giant section called corrections, which constantly remind you how we're almost always wrong. But do be aware, and we won't single him out, of any sources. Double it up. Look for more sources. If you think you found the rationale to not take the vaccine or to take it, double it up. Just look into it, whatever your view is.
Well, thank you for that public service announcement, Mike Gibbons.
Yeah, and wipe your ass with bamboo newspaper. Bamboo newspaper. That's what I want to wipe my ass with.
Yeah, and don't forget, I'll be in Portland next weekend.
All right, next story. Kids are smoking again. I just want to put some good news in here. Cigarette smoking has been in a steady decline among adults in the United States for 30 years. Recently, nicotine use has gone up because of vaping. Yet in 2020, for the first time in 2 decades, cigarette sales increased. The questions researchers are trying to figure out are we actually seeing more smokers? Are we seeing more frequent smokers? Or is the time we weren't going out erasing the memory of what it was to have smokers standing outside of bars? All of those are possible. What do you think it is?
I think honestly, I am seeing more and more smoking in movies and TV shows by cool characters. It's like, what's the one with Billy Bob Thornton, that series.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, the one where he's in Venice here?
Yeah. He's like all these really super cool guys you want to be like, and they're smoking in every fucking scene.
Right.
Orange is the New Black. It's just there's so many shows, and I think people are watching more stuff streaming, and I think young people are very impressionable, and I think they're probably smoking more because of it.
I ran into too many S&P, which stands for Standards and Practices Departments at channels, including Comedy Central, who were like, and CBS, when I had a sitcom there, in no way can you, like, we were fighting, like there was a cigarette or the joke was even about it or it was the proper context. Like, what are you doing smoking? And yet they still would never allow me, probably because my shows weren't powerful enough. In other words, I wasn't like a South Park, even though they're animated. They would never let me show an inhale. The best I could negotiate was they could show an exhale, which is so ridiculous.
Really?
But I'm wondering if they're loosening that up. I mean, the show you're talking about was on Amazon. So streamers don't have advertisers, or it's not the same culture,
right,
where advertisers have as much power.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's loosened up then a little bit.
I know our friend Matt Malloy was just in a show where he had to smoke, and he's not a smoker. And so he was practicing with these herbal cigarettes that they give you. And,
wow.
I mean, it's pretty amazing because most of these actors don't smoke, and they're really good at it. Like, being a good smoker is an art. Like, there was a guy, when I grew up, everybody had the cool kid in town, the guy who was the coolest kid in town. And the kid in my town, his name was Alphonse. And I think he was Italian. And he had, like, you got to remember, this is the 80s. And he had, like, the feathered back hair. He always had a Marlboro dangling perfectly from his lips. He just inhaled. When he exhaled, it was never an effort. It just sort of came out in different interesting ways. He had like the open Timberlands. He had the bandana in his back pocket, the leather jacket, the ear piercing. And then when he was like 17, he was dating this like 25-year-old woman who had a Trans Am that used to drive him around. He was the coolest fucking guy. Yeah. And the cigarettes were like a big part of it. Like the Marlboro Reds folded up in his fucking sleeve, in his T-shirt.
Cut to now with his 10-year-older wife still, and they still have the Trans Am.
Yeah.
And he's on a respirator.
Yeah, the Trans Am has a different colored hood and a quarter panel on it.
So did he peak then? Like I always wonder, like in Eastchester, New York, I saw a lot of guys peak in high school.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to check on him. I'm still I'm still good friends with some of my buddies that I grew up with. I'm gonna check in and find out what's going on with Alphonse. There was a lot of Tarrytown's a big union town, because the GM plant was there, and then there was a big carpenters union and a plumbers union. Everybody was in the union, and those are good fucking jobs, man. Guys like that end up learning a craft. In high school, they had what they called BOCES, which was like learning. Motor repair or
we had that also. Yep.
Culinary school, and it was really great.
Yeah. Sorry, just getting this text. We Eastchester was mostly Italian. There was a lot, but what that culture was, which was great, is middle class, man. They could save for college education, and they could afford a house. They could afford a car. They were protected. They had some job security, and it worked. And clearly, it didn't hurt the progress of the corporations. Look where we are now. Right. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, even down. Remember Caddyshack? Didn't he do the Italian caddy? Like before he jumped in, did the dive off the diving board, took his last drag of the cigarette, threw it away. Like
right.
Trust me, it was very, and of course, every movie before that.
Is there a better scene in a comedy? That scene goes back to like the Marx Brothers, when the pool scene in Caddyshack, and then they start playing the Nutcracker Suite, and they're doing fucking water dancing. Oh my god, that was the greatest fucking scene.
Ended with a candy bar.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. All right, here we go. Oh, we got a local news story. I love this one. So this week, a court upheld the firing of 2 LAPD officers who ignored a robbery to play Pokemon Go. I thought I had to look this story up twice because I didn't believe it. It is true. According to the court
first of all, the
filing,
fact that cops got fired is so fucking rare. It's almost impossible to fire a cop.
Well, one thing is they lied to their captain. So according to the court filing, the 2 guys ignored a call requesting backup to respond to a robbery at a nearby Macy's, then set off in pursuit of a Snorlax, and then spent the next 20 minutes driving around to various locations where the creatures were shown on their maps.
Yeah.
They were accused of later making false statements about their lack of response to the call and their involvement with Pokemon Go. For example, they said they were only talking about the augmented reality game, which became a worldwide craze for about a year. They were only talking about it rather than actually playing it. So what happened was, very briefly, they parked in an alley. The Macy's, the details were amazing. The Macy's that was being robbed was in eyesight of their car. So the captain saw that on the map and said, "Are they responding?" And the dispatcher said, "They're not responding," and they just flipped their thing to off. So the captain got on and he goes, "Is your radio on? Can you hear us? There's a robbery at Macy's."
Yeah.
And they set off to find the Snorlax for 20 minutes. And you could see it on the map. And so he flipped on. The captain went back and checked their footage to see why his call wasn't being heeded. And the guys appealed and countersued. And that's this thing the court upheld, because they appealed saying that was wrong, that their boss spied on them and looked at the cameras that were observing them during this.
Right.
Can you believe the balls on these 2 guys?
It's unbelievable. I think maybe this could be a solution to a problem. Why don't we give cops points, like make it a game, make their job a game, like Pokemon Go. They make a clean arrest, they get points. They get extra points for not having a shit attitude when somebody asks where the Uber is. And, you get points for it all gets calculated on their body camera. And at the end of the month, the cop with the most points gets 10 minutes in the evidence room, like one of those supermarket sweep games. 10 minutes in the evidence room, whatever you can carry out.
I love it. Meanwhile, this is 2017, and I think it was down like near Crenshaw. Probably the population of Crenshaw is like, let them play, please.
Yeah, right.
That afternoon, a lot less black people got roughed up or shot.
Right.
Let them play, please. Let them go try to find that Snorlax.
In a related story, TikTok creator Rory Teasley has died. I saw the headline and I thought that meant he created TikTok, and I was like, I thought that was Chinese, but they mean he's like a content provider.
Oh,
creator.
I see. Yeah, I thought it was the creator also. I'm like, that's not a very Asian name.
So he died. No, he's a black dude from Detroit, and police say his boyfriend of 10 years strangled him during a fight about a video
Why are
game.
you laughing during that headline?
I just think, how can it get worse? Authorities were called by Teasley's boyfriend, Doquan Jova Watkins, who called 911 and said that he and Teasley had fought. I wonder if he was Teasleying him. Watkins told officers that Teasley was, quote, sleeping on the couch. They found Teasley unconscious and not breathing. The fight started while the two were playing the video game Overwatch, which is a multiplayer shooter game. Authorities said that during the fight, Watkins choked Teasley to death.
I don't mean to laugh.
Police did not immediately respond because they were playing Pokemon Go.
Exactly. This is a video game quagmire.
Yeah, everything is the funeral is going to be done on Instagram Live. The guy will be on Grindr by then.
Never play a video game with the guy in the same room. You should, listen, follow the rules. You should be in your underwear with the headset on, about 3 or 4 states apart, and just get racist in the comment section. Come on, that's the American way.
Right. If your mom's not yelling at you from upstairs, you're not playing right.
Oh my God, he strangled him to death. He's sleeping.
I mean, they always question whether these games, promote violence, and obviously in this case, maybe if they'd been playing Minecraft, they would have, instead of killing him, he would have created like a cool gay town.
Most surprising thing is he didn't shoot him to death.
Jesus,
he's asleep. It was called a sleeper hold, so obviously he's asleep, guys.
Yeah.
They found his hand. Hold on. Watkins told officers he was sleeping on the couch. So, wait a minute. Why are you calling 911 about your roommate sleeping? 911. Yeah. I just want to say my roommate's sleeping on the couch.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we supposed to get? Maybe it's a deep sleep.
It's a deep sleep. It's weird. He usually snores. Not snoring today.
I'd feel better if you checked on him because he normally doesn't sleep on the couch. He always sleeps in bed.
Yeah.
And I can't wake him up.
Yeah. What a coincidence. He's dead. I think he just wanted him to cart the fucking body out of there.
It's kind of like getting rid of basically garbage on Craigslist. You put it in the free column.
Yeah.
People come pick it up. It's like you call 911. Like, what am I going to do with this body?
Right. It's Detroit.
Entertainment. All righty.
All right, so I also watched you watched the Wes Anderson movie, right?
French Dispatch?
Yeah.
Yeah, my DVD player, because I got a screener, I had to find my DVD player. It exploded from adorableness, so I couldn't watch the rest of it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Aw.
Yeah.
It is adorable. I mean, I like it. He does interesting cinematography. He'll take a guy with a red shirt and put him in front of a red wall. That's fine. It's
cute. Adorable. Yeah,
it's adorable.
It's fun.
But I made the
story?
mistake.
I literally gave up on it.
I made the mistake of smoking a fatty with Aaron before we watched it. And that movie, you can't be high and watch that movie because it's like being high to watch it. It's so out there. And I didn't realize it was like three parts that were semi-related but on their. It was too trippy. It was crazy. And I love Wes Anderson, but I feel like this was a movie that was made for film students.
Yeah, and precious millennials. I did not get high because I have only really liked one Wes Anderson movie. I mean, I liked, what was it called? The Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah.
But it basically that same problem. You have these great characters and so that's what, but the one that he did Rushmore. Oh, I like Bottle Rocket, right? He did Bottle Rocket, I believe.
Yeah.
I really liked Bottle Rocket when it came out, and I should revisit it. But I did not like Rushmore, and I've been basically like so yelled at in writers' rooms. And so I went back and I'm like, let me give this the most sober, dedicated, honest viewing. And I mean, it's okay. Maybe it's just shy of like good. Maybe it's good. It is not great though, and apparently I'm the only one in this town that feels that way.
No, it is great. The movies are great. They're smart. They are cute, but they get you through the fact that it is all about loneliness. Every one of the movies is about loneliness. The characters get disenfranchised, they run away, they get estranged, and so there has to be this warmth underneath to get you through these themes. But the writing, the dialogue is really smart and interesting and quotable, and I think these guys are brilliant.
I think part of why I didn't relate to Rushmore is I wasn't lonely in high school and I was a bully. So where's the movie for me? Where's the movie for me? I was in the popular crowd.
Yeah.
I wasn't lonely, and I would beat up nerds like that.
So
I want my movie, Revenge of the Jocks. When is it coming out?
Do you think the pendulum's going to swing back and nerds will become nerds again?
Well, nerds are the new bullies. I mean, I've said this for years. Like,
right.
My big overreaching philosophy is, nerds way back, it was like if I was bigger than you, I would take your wife if I could, or I'd take your cave, or I'd take your food, right? Because I could. And then nerds were, whoa, that's not how society is going to progress. We need rules, guys. We need regulation. Now, fast forward to the nerds dominating everything, and then the government like, whoa, you've got like super billions, and you're crushing unions, and you're crushing all these sort of the strong guys on your assembly line. We need regulation, and the nerds are like, fuck regulation, man.
Yeah, right.
Fuck that. I'm alpha now. Fuck your regulation.
They're like the Vanderbilts and the Rockefellers. They are like the original oil barons.
And it's not clubs, it's laws. It's pieces of paper. That's what it is. It's the pen.
And we have not benefited. That's the thing. People talk about progress. There's no progress with these apps. I went to get on Uber coming back from San Francisco.
Oh, Uber's done.
We get to the airport, and you got to take a shuttle. You got to order it. Then you got to take a shuttle. And to go, it used to be you stood on the curb and a cab picked you up and took you somewhere. And they ran all the cabs out of business by having lower fares. And then we got addicted to it. The cabs go out of business. And now Uber jacks up its rates. I got to take a shuttle bus to get to the car. And it's garbage.
Cabs are back, by the way. I don't know. So I just took a cab. I went on Lyft and Uber. Uber from LAX to my house, which is, I think, 7 miles. $62.
Yeah.
On Uber, the cheapest Uber. Not Uber Pool, though. The cheapest Uber where I'm alone, Uber X, right? So I'm on Uber X, and I mean, I did every trick. I reset it, because I'm on a shuttle. I had time. I have to go out to this goddamn area. I did it so many times. The lowest price I got was $61. Took a cab, $22.
Yeah, no, it's a joke. It's a joke, and the drivers are not on those when they do those spikes, whatever they call it, when it's extra. What do they call it?
Surge.
When they do a surge, the driver doesn't get that money. I've talked to the drivers. They get a very small amount of that money. It's
Tom
all going
O'Neill
into
is the
Uber's
driver.
pockets. Meanwhile, the drivers are not given health insurance. Their cars they got to take care of their cars themselves. It's a complete joke. They've stripped workers of any dignity. The riders get a worse experience, and we're paying more than we were with taxis. It's over.
They got so, of course, it's just greed. They got so selfish, but it's like Amazon. They'll enter the game making no money. It's the old, big bookstore versus little bookstore. They'll
Right.
lose money until the little guys are out of business, and then they're going to catch up.
All right, speaking of big money, let's go to international.
Oh, hold on. Where's my toilet paper? That's the toilet paper wrapper, by the way. It is not the toilet paper because that does not sound soft. Okay, international.
Okay, Prince Charles, everybody's favorite, the man.
I don't know this story. You put this story in this morning. Let's do it.
Okay. Prince Charles' extensive royal routine has been revealed by a former royal butler who has given a breakdown of his unusual requests. Quote, his pajamas are pressed every morning. His shoelaces are pressed flat with an iron. The bath plug has to be in a certain position, and the water temperature has to be just tepid. Ugh.
I want this.
He has his valet squeeze 1 inch of toothpaste onto his toothbrush every morning. He has 2 men to help him get dressed in the morning. On one occasion, he rang me from his library and he said, "Oh, Paul, a letter from the Queen seems to have fallen into my waste paper basket. Would you pick it out?" I had to bend down into the paper bin and pick out the letter and put it back on his desk. Paul asked Charles, "Would that be all, Your Highness?" To which the Prince Charles replied, "Yes, thank you very much." Yes, why are you describing your shit? You got a great fucking job.
No shit.
You are in the royal palace. You're probably being paid a shitload of money for a job with a lot of security, and that's what you do. You put an inch of toothpaste on the prince's toothbrush. What else? Is there another duty you should be doing for the 100,000 pounds you're earning a year or whatever they fucking pay you?
Oh my God. And by the way, your predecessor, maybe like three sort of royal generations ago, was wiping the king's ass.
That's right. If I was the king, you'd be wiping my ass. If I had 2 guys helping me get dressed in the morning, I'd be like, "Hey, Charlie, let's grab some of that bamboo toilet paper. Let's head into the John."
Oh, or just dip your hand in that giant vat of lube. You know the drill.
Dude, I would have that guy doing everything. He would chew my food for me. You kidding me? What's his other choice? What, are you going to work in a coal mine or be a chimney sweep?
No, I know. And
You
also,
going to pick a pocket or two?
who is this guy? Is he going to be killed? Like, who is this guy?
Oh, you're not allowed to talk about this stuff.
Did Meghan have this guy turn on the royal family like she did?
I can't wait for Chris Denman to fucking turn us out one day. It's gonna happen. There's gonna be a day where he starts a podcast. It's gonna be the Monday paper podcast, and he's gonna talk about how we treat him before and after we're actually on the air.
Speaking of which, this is absolutely real. If he's listening, he is listening. I see his name on the Google Doc. Chris, if you could grab a family circus, I forgot to grab a family circus. I tried to
Jesus.
at the beginning. And it's usually on a thing called comicskingdom.com, and it's timing out on me. I can't grab one. So do that after you clean my balls, please.
A Japanese woman is giving up her child and suing her sperm donor after she learned he lied about his ethnicity and educational background. The woman was seeking to have a second child, decided to find a sperm donor on social media. Where else?
Yeah.
The donor she chose claimed he was Japanese and a graduate from the prestigious Kyoto University, and they had sex 10 times to get pregnant. I imagine it was dealer's choice on how she was going to get pregnant on this one. But after getting pregnant in June 2019, the woman discovered that the donor was actually Chinese.
So wait, they had sex 10 times.
Yeah.
So not like he had sex with a bottle in the next room
Nope.
or whatever that arrangement is.
Nope. That's
And
not how they do it in Japan.
He passed for Japanese. Fine.
Passed for Japanese.
Okay.
So he also went to a different university and hid the fact that he was married.
Oh.
By the time she knew of his true identity, it was too late to abort the baby, and she has since given up the child for adoption. The woman filed a lawsuit against the sperm donor last month for 330 million yen for emotional distress. This baby is a Chinese knockoff.
She knew things were wrong when it came out with a "Made in Japan" written on the bottom of its foot.
She knew the baby was Chinese after she breastfed him. He was hungry 20 minutes later.
Oh, no. Okay.
That was bad. I didn't need to do that one. But I love that she's suing him for $2.86 million. Like, that's her quote on having sex 10 times. So basically, 280 grand a screw. That's what she gets. That's her quote.
I think that's a fair. Basically, she's suing because she's racist. That's a fair number, isn't it, for being a racist?
Right.
There is true historic bad blood. I mean, really bad between the Chinese and Japanese coming out of World War II. But so, man, you slept with them 10 times. You didn't have a problem with them then.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, well, I bet someone could make an argument that cheating is genetic. Maybe there's like a morality. I wonder if they do have that, like, because clearly a narcissist, you can be born a narcissist.
Yeah.
I know they're also made, but I do believe there's an argument to be made that there are traits, kind of like you could be born bipolar and things like that. I think narcissism is in the DSM-5 or whatever, 6, whatever we're up to now. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I wonder if her lawsuit went like he's a liar, and maybe she could claim that there is some trait that might be other than Chinese that might be passed along to him.
Right. Well, I mean, if you're gonna, I remember when I was in college, there was an article about how Harvard students were selling their sperm for a lot of money. And like, you know, like, but you got to think, you got a Harvard student sperm, but you got a Harvard student who's jerking off for $200. You're not getting the top of the crop. No, I think it was even more. I forget.
I thought it was less.
Oh, I can't remember, but
wasn't it 50?
Would you have done that back in college? Would you have been a sperm donor if it was a lot of money? If it was like $500 a pop?
Yes. It was $500 a week. It was 10 times. I never did. The only time I ever went to a place and produced a sample was when we were having, I've told you, the difficulty getting pregnant. And so I went into that place, and I told you when I opened the drawer, and then I was horrified that in the drawer there was also gay porn. I told you that story.
Oh,
and I was like,
right.
And then keep in mind, I am supposed to be maintaining down there. We'll try to keep this as clean as possible. I'm supposed to be in the mood, and now all I'm thinking about is like, oh my God, these liars are in here. They're trying to get their wife pregnant, but they're gay.
Yeah.
Like they shouldn't have a baby. Someone should do something. And meanwhile, this is what I'm thinking about when I'm trying to produce a sample. Of course, completely missing the fact that it's, you know, a gay couple could have their woman helping them out, and they have to produce a sample. Surrogate.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, but the gay porn got me there. So whatever works.
Let's do some sports, Mike Gibbons.
Okay, here it is. Hold on. Sports page is down here. Okay.
Well, you are in the red. I think for the second time since this bet started with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They lost. They played the Panthers like a few weeks apart, and they beat them both times. But I think this time by a bigger margin. So you're down $30.
All right. I mean, I don't know how to do a double or nothing because we don't know if it's the last game of the season.
No, there's one more. They're playing. Oh, no, I guess it's the playoffs at this point. They're playing Philly, and they're given 7.5 points this week.
Does it? I haven't thought it through, even though I'm smarter. Does it make sense to go double or nothing? And if they win, we go to double or nothing the next week, and we just keep doing that? Is that insane? You would like that.
Yeah, I don't really care. What are you saying? So instead of 50, we bet 100 a game? Or you're saying double what you owe me?
So it's 30 now. I would owe you 60, or we'd be even after this. That doesn't really work out that well for me.
Let's keep it at 50, and then when we get to the Super Bowl and the Buccaneers are in it, we'll double the bet.
I do better if we just bet 50 this week than double or nothing.
Yes.
All right, great. $50 this week.
We had a story about Djokovic, and I thought Chris Denman was going to put in some information. He put one sentence.
So we'll follow this up next week. But this Djokovic odyssey in Australia has been so interesting because they are flip-flopping. We probably have some of this wrong. I believe he did not reveal if he was vaccinated, but you can get a visa and there are exceptions. And he claimed to meet one of those exceptions. Then they found out he didn't. So they revoked his visa. He cannot play in the tournament. Then it was back. Chris just said, as of 30 minutes ago, and this is Friday morning, a second cancellation of the visa has been put in place and he may not get to play. So I'm going to bet that money wins out in this Western civilization and that they will find a way for Djokovic to play in this tournament.
I don't think so. I think it's become political. I think the Prime Minister of Australia, I believe, said that she wants him out.
I know, but then those people, kind of like the CDC, they get a talking to, like the famous scene in Network, which is you realize government isn't political. Government is Nabisco. And so, and you are in service of corporations. That's
all right.
The way.
Let's put some money on it. I'm gonna guess they do not let him play. You're gonna guess they do.
Chris just said there have been close to 20 changes and updates on this story since November, and I think also on his status. So I'm gonna bet that money wins out because the tournament is worth so much more. And the viewership for TV rights globally if Djokovic plays.
All right. And also, he's pretty close to winning the most Grand Slams. Isn't he like one off it?
Badly. He needs it badly.
So let's bet $30, since that's what you owe me right now, on whether or not he plays next week.
All right. So we have 50 on the game, 30 on this.
Got it. Let's do some science.
Oh. All right, this is just a little small headline that made me pause. And the headline was, China has built an artificial moon that simulates low-gravity conditions on Earth. That's all.
That's it. That's it.
That's it. You know, normally it's like other China products, like that's where my iPhone's made. This is where my moon is now made.
Yeah, right.
All right. It is said to be the first, I'd imagine it's the first of its kind. And
I don't think so. We built one in 1969. You can watch all the fake videos on YouTube.
Kubrick's amazing. And it could play a key role in the country's future lunar missions. And also the landscape is supported by a magnetic field and was inspired by experiments to levitate a frog.
Oh.
China, what are you up to?
I don't think you need to levitate frogs. That's the one thing they do really well on their own.
I think they increased its hang time. I think that was the whole experiment. Like Froggy went to jump in, and he stayed up for a long time.
Yeah, if you want to levitate a snail or a turtle, that would impress me.
Is it no longer romantic to like look out point and you look up at that China moon and throw a move on the lady? Hey, it's full again.
Yeah, it's full again.
There's tons of jokes here that I have not written, but about like they could only afford a half moon at this point, but they're hoping to get, like that's all you're going to see on this Chinese moon.
Yeah.
I don't even know what this article means. I didn't even really read it. I grabbed the two first bullet points, which were interesting, and the headline is no less than fascinating.
Well, it's about time somebody built a zero gravity simulation because they do so many experiments in space because they need the zero gravity to do them. I guess they can do them here now.
No, I think this is simulating, we have pretty low gravity. Like, we with all our might, we can jump a foot off the ground or something. Like, I think that's what it's saying. It's almost replicating what the moon is doing, which of course affects tides and all that stuff.
Yeah. Huh.
Gravity is pretty crazy here. Like you can throw balls as hard as you want. That thing is on Earth really soon again.
Yep.
Now
it's pretty. You know what's amazing about gravity is that like you can do a handstand. You can turn your body upside down, and all of the organs and the veins and the liquid is upside down, and it still works. Like it's okay to do that for long periods of time. That always freaks me out.
In some ways, we're incredible animals, but in others, like the amount we have to eat is stupid.
Yeah,
it's so stupid. I can't go 7 hours, without like all of a sudden some capacities being diminished.
Yeah.
Which they factually are. Or even I can't go 2 days without sleeping. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
We're so high maintenance.
Engineers from Yale University, they're wicked smart, have developed a wearable device that can help individuals assess whether they have been exposed to COVID-19. The cheap device can clip onto a person's clothes and capture aerosolized viral particles in the surrounding environments. Huh. This kind of shit I need a clip-on lie detector, not a COVID detector. What if you could have a lie detector on your person that buzzed in your pocket when somebody was lying?
Well, this will be that, by the way. Like you saw that article about the woman, like, shh, we're on the plane, we have COVID, but there was no way we were going to stay in wherever we were, so we're going home. So that is, in that way, it is going to be a lie. A lot of people lie about their exposure.
Aaron,
but I like this concept, though.
When we were dropping off JoJo, Erin got a notice on her phone, and she doesn't know where from, that told her that she had been exposed to COVID-19 and that she needed to quarantine because of it. That somebody was detected who reported having it, and they traced her phone as being next to the phone of that person.
Poor Greg doesn't realize he just found out his wife's cheating on him.
Not COVID crabs. I meant crabs.
Yeah, I mean, you could stick to your word exposed, but rolling around the sack for an hour, that's exposure.
Yeah. And then so that happens, and then we go back to the Airbnb we're staying in, and we get a text from the Airbnb owner asking us why the heat is on 81 degrees, which it was because JoJo's a fucking idiot and she turned the heat up to 81 degrees because she was cold. But come on, he's monitoring which made me immediately think there's cameras in this Airbnb.
Why are you wearing that shirt? That's the next text.
Right.
Yeah.
No sex on the couch, assholes.
Yeah. Please not reverse cowgirl on my couch.
Yeah, right. Greg, why are you using so much lube? That's too much lube.
It's the nanny cam.
Oh
no,
God.
The smart houses tell them so much information. Are you kidding? Now the smart appliances, they'll know when you're cooking. They'll know when you've left the oven on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And also they can control it. He could have turned it down, by the way, if he wanted.
Yes, I noticed that also, that it said when we were going to bed that the heat will go down in 2 hours. It was, and we didn't program it, he did.
Yep, absolutely.
It was crazy. Let's do some business.
You got it. Here it comes. Tesla has a new problem. A teen hacker claims the ability to control 25 Teslas worldwide. A 19-year-old security researcher claims to have hacked remotely into more than 25 Tesla cars in 13 countries. He says the software flaw allows him to unlock doors and windows, start the cars without keys, disable their security systems, allow him to see if a driver is present in the car, and to turn on the vehicle's stereo and sound system. All remotely, and sometimes while the person's driving.
I love it. Finally, a way we can get Sunday papers into more people's ears.
Welcome to our new sponsor, this nerd who hacked into these things. Everyone's going to be listening to the Sunday Paper podcast right now. It just went on in your Tesla. Don't question it. It's out of your control.
Enjoy it until he drives you into a busy intersection in 15 minutes.
Exactly.
Because it would be cool.
What are we doing next?
Let's do this day in history.
You got it.
So, on January 16th, 1919, the 18th Amendment in the U.S. Constitution prohibiting the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors for beverage purposes is ratified.
Big mistake.
Prohibition. So it was caused by the temperance societies, and these groups had become very powerful. 9 months after Prohibition's ratification, Congress passed the Volstead Act, or National Prohibition Act, over Woodrow Wilson's veto.
Oh, how can that happen?
Which enforced well, you can override a veto. It goes back to the Senate, and then they have to ratify it by a certain number.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah. So,
but imagine, the older I get, maybe not the worst idea. Like, for instance, if you and I heard right now, like a country, right, a modern, wealthy country, outlawed, there's no one in that country is going to drink anymore, I'd be pretty scared. Wouldn't you be like, I'd invest in that country? Like, in other words, they're going to become incredibly productive.
Yeah.
Now, there's the backfire, of course, of all the bootlegging, and maybe they actually, it goes the other way, and all of a sudden they have huge problems and disruptions and societal upheaval. Okay, but imagine if a country wanted to do this, kind of like getting sober. I mean, a sober country? Watch
I think Saudi Arabia is a sober country.
I think all the wealthy and the rich drink in Saudi
Well,
Arabia.
that's what it is with these laws, is all you're doing is regulating poor people. I mean, you talk about the getting abortions. If you're in Texas and you're rich, you go to the next state and you get an abortion. If you're poor, you can't get the abortion. So
I'm sure it's even easier than that in Texas. If you're wealthy, you have a private doctor.
Right.
But, Saudi Arabia, it's like, oh, my God, of course, no, you can't do all this stuff. And they're flying in Instagram models, like 12 at a time for sex parties.
It is weird, though, that pot is still illegal in some states and liquor is legal, because you just, on paper, crunch the numbers and you look at the amount of deaths from alcohol, the amount of domestic violence, the amount of missed work and productivity, how much alcohol affects our gross national product. It's insane. There is no comparison that pot is less dangerous.
Wyoming, I was just there, pot is still illegal. And then Jack reminded that they're holding on to the top spot. They're also, not only is Teton County, by many measures, the wealthiest county in the United States, Cheney and all those guys there because they don't pay taxes. But last week it was 642 new cases. They're number one per capita in COVID.
See, if they were smoking pot, they wouldn't be catching COVID.
So those are just some stats on Wyoming. But it's conservative kind of state, which also is reflected in the COVID and the wealth numbers. And so they're not allowing pot yet. I don't know if they're close or not.
All right, let's do some letters to the editor.
Oh, shit. I didn't realize what time it is.
Oh, shit. All right.
I think I got to go.
All right, we're going to cut it off. Well, should I finish without you?
I love that idea. Well, that's our new thing every week.
Okay, well, I'll finish without you.
For a guy who got smarter, boy, I didn't see this noon. I have a pitch at noon on this computer, on this Zoom program.
Pitch it up. Good luck, my friend.
Let me see if it's been canceled.
Sell this son of a bitch.
It's just to HBO. Yikers, bye.
See ya. All right, this is a first. I'm going to finish out Sunday Papers on my own, and it's going to be so much better. That fucking dead weight of Gibbons with his stupid punchlines. Letters to the editor. Emilio said, please don't stop cussing or talking about jerking off. That's the funniest part of the show. That guy was a moron. David Cholden says, the guy complaining about jerking off is a jerk off. Do not listen to them. Do what is natural to you. If that is talking about jerking off, so be it. Love the show. All right, well, listen. You can see behind me, I'm in a hotel room in Boston. There's going to be some jerking off. Maybe I should just do it and make a statement on Sunday papers. Gibbons is gone. I'm alone. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can fully take in the political statement I'm making by masturbating on the podcast. And then I guess we'll do the obituaries. Sunday papers only fans. That's what Chris Denman wrote. Obituaries. You know, I'm going to talk about Bob Saget a lot on my podcast, which will come out on Tuesday. So I don't want to double down on it too much. I'll just say I loved this guy. He was a beautiful spirit. He was a presence in the comedy world that was felt by not just the biggest names in the business, literally like he was friends with the biggest celebrities, but he also treated somebody who'd been doing comedy for 2 years like a peer, and he was supportive, and he was beautiful, and he will be missed. And I'm gonna actually get on a memorial. There's a memorial Zoom for his friends and family that I'm gonna get on in 2 hours, and then I'll talk about that on the podcast a little bit. And also, we want to say goodbye to Peter Bogdanovich, Robert Durst, and Ronnie Spector. There was a lot of death this week of significant people. And let's do the Sunday funnies. Crinkle, 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 crinkle. Rick Oleski said, hey, Greg, you keep calling the redheaded kid in Family Circus Billy. It's actually Jeffy. It really doesn't matter, except that if you take a second to realize that Jeffy is the second son, and Jeff Keane is the son who took over from that asshole Bill Keane, which means that Bill skipped his first son and namesake Billy and handed the reins over to his second son. So apparently Billy was so inept that he was unable to continue shitting out these awful comic strips. Or he had the sensibility to go, I'm not doing it. I mean, I was stupid enough to go into the family business. My father was in radio, and now I'm sitting in a hotel room doing radio. He at least had a goddamn studio. Maybe I should have learned something. Let's do Hager. Hager and his buddy are walking onto an island from the ocean. And he says, how does it feel to make landfall on an uncharted island paradise? And then they come up and there's a guy at a booth with a lei around his neck smiling. And it says, souvenirs, maps, tours, and virgin sacrifices. And his friend says, I wouldn't know. So the joke is here that they're taking teenage girls that have never been made love to and killing them. That's what you're reading about when you're a child picking up the Sunday papers is a couple of guys that are going to go watch teenagers get killed because they're virgins. All right, I hope this is going well. Now I'm self-conscious that Mike's not on the podcast with me. I feel lonely. I feel like somebody in a Wes Anderson movie right now. On the Lockhorns, Leroy is sitting there with an attorney and his wife, Loretta. And he says, if we declare bankruptcy, does that mean we don't have to pay your fee? Wrong, Leroy. And then Leroy says, they're sitting at a restaurant with their menus, and Leroy says to Loretta, don't order anything with accent marks. I should say that to my kids. They're always ordering fucking steak and lobster when we go to restaurants. They don't understand. We're on a budget. This is Chris Denman has found a family circus and put it in. It's Billy or Jeffy, I don't know which it is, talking to the girl. And then she says to him, she used to be Daddy's sister, but now she's our aunt. Well, that's cubism. That's the the study of one object from different perspectives at the same time. This is Picasso-esque comedy writing. It's very interesting. It's sublime. And now, finally, let's get to Blondie. Blondie is in a dressing room at a store. Dagwood is sitting on a chair like he's the fucking lord of the manor while Blondie shows her wares. Let me tell you something. If you have ever not watched the show on YouTube, watch it now because you can see how smoking hot Blondie is in this. What would you call that color? It's like an orange red, and it works so well with her yellow hair. And she's standing there with a full bosom. It's low cut. It's above the knee. It hugs her waist. And she goes, "What do you think, dear?" Chris Denman's calling it coral. And Dagwood says, "Fabulous. I love it." And then she goes, "Here's the price. Yes or no?" And he looks at the price, and his hair shoots straight up. And she goes, "That might be a no." No, Dagwood, that's not a no. You get that fucking dress for that lady. That belongs on her, and you belong in a better job. You need to start working and stop napping and start showing up and being a fucking man that she deserves. You piece of shit. She should have to put this dress back because you got to eat 3 sandwiches at lunch and then go to sleep at your desk. No. Step it up, asshole. All right, that's it. I hope we didn't peter out. I feel like we petered out without Gibbons. God damn it. I thought I could handle the end of this, but I don't know if I really did. And I apologize to you people if I did. But I think my caffeine ran out just as he left. But hopefully you enjoyed the first part of the podcast. Anyway, we're going to leave you with, I guess, just the message. We love you, Bob Saget. We'll miss you. And for anybody that cared about him, there's a lot of great clips of him on YouTube. And that's it. We'll talk about it more on FitzDog Radio this week. Okay, thanks to Midcoast Media, everybody that makes the show possible. Key, Chris Denman, Beth Hoops. You do a great job. And we'll catch you guys next week. Take it easy.
It's not Monday. It's not Tuesday. It's not Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. It's Sunday. Papers. Motherfuckers.